The main thing, though, Ramos coming on has offered them a different dimension once again. He's probably a player that they picked in the squad for a bit of experience, and all of a sudden he's given his head in this game, and look what he's got. He's got a hat-trick in his first full start. Incredible.
They've got Morocco next, and I imagine that Portugal will be looking at that thinking, that's quite good, actually. Like they might feel a little bit confident about that. How far do you think Portugal on current form can go in this competition, Stu?
I think they'll get to the semi-final and ceiling out there, personally. I
that
think
would be against potentially
England or France.
England or France,
that's how I see it panning out. I mean, there's some brilliant quarterfinals, I think, on paper. You go through, but you're thinking, if you're making judgment calls, you're saying, well, I think Brazil will win their game, I think Argentina will win their game, I think Portugal. I think it might have taken too much out of Morocco. Yesterday's exertions, Saif looked as though he was on his knees at the end. Agard from West Ham ended up copping a slight injury, which is a real blow for him.
Do you know what hasn't got a mention, by the way, and it's worth a mention? The coach last night, big decision, leaving out Ronaldo clearly, and that's grabbed all the headlines. He left out Cancelo as well, who I think's been bang average. I mean, I can't believe the level of performance that he's produced for Portugal. I thought he'd be one of the star men, but he's been average in his performance, and he leaves him out. He brings in Dalla, who I thought was excellent last night, and then other side Guerrero's solid enough as well. So he made, it's worth making that point, he's made a couple of decisions last night, the coach. They are, in my opinion, I agree with Stuart actually, I think they'll win the quarter-final game, and I would expect them to be second favourites and probably lose against England and France, but it would not be a surprise them getting to the final.
Just taking up on your point there, the fact that he left a couple of big names out, Neves is in midfield as well. I've been banging on about the importance of the impacts from the bench and that type of thing. I don't know whether he had a slight mentality of, look, Switzerland are going to come out, be pretty defensive, you know what I mean? This game could go well into the second half. It might even go into extra time. Do I need the impact of the top players off the bench, and do the starters get the job done in some ways, and then I'll bring a couple of the impact players on, as in Ronaldo, Neves. But as it goes, he didn't need to do that. The work was done by the team on the pitch. So sometimes you wonder, what was the driver behind the manager's call of leaving a couple of these players out who played the previous game? Was it, we're going to have impact in the second half after we worn them down a bit? Or alternatively, was it a straightforward judgment call like you're suggesting? I don't know.
OK, talkSPORT listeners, we would love to hear from you this morning. Is Ronaldo's legacy taking a bit of a battering, or do you still respect him as the player that he is? How do you feel about his recent outbursts, as we're calling them, and what do you think his future holds? Where do you think he's going to go? Because there's a lot of clubs potentially in for him. Well, one that we know about, and that's a club in Saudi Arabia. Does he go there, or does he have more time to play in Europe? I hope he stays. I think he's got more time in Europe, but we'll see.